The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus exclaimed, "I bless you, Father, Lord of heaven and of earth, for hiding these things from the learned and the clever, and revealing them to mere children. Yes, Father, for that is what it pleased you to do. Everything has been entrusted to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, just as no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are overburdened, and I will give you rest. Shoulder my yoke and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Yes, my yoke is easy and my burden light." The Gospel of the Lord. Some time ago, when I was in South India making a trip, I came across a place where the people used to call load bearer, L-O-A-D, load bearer. I was wondering what this could mean because I couldn't see anything else. It's only 3 stones, 1 and 2. On the left and right, 2 stones, and they put across 1 more right on top. And just 3. You can find this under the tree. You can find this in the roadside, especially by the river side or near the well or where the pond is, water. And I was wondering why they are calling this as load bearer. There are 2 reasons. One, story says, it seems when a mother who's carrying a child, pregnant mother, for some reason the child dies or the mother dies, the whole village praises this mother because she was carrying this great load, carrying this heavy load for almost 9-10 months. And so mothers are always praised. And so to remember this load bearer, the mother, they will build this load bearer, these 3 stones, anywhere in the corners in the village. That is one reason. And the other reason is really a load bearer where people of those days have no transport to carry things. There are heavy loads being carried upon their heads and upon the shoulder. And they used to walk long journey. And when come to some place when they see water, they will have to go down and quench their thirst. So after carrying heavy load, they will need to put it somewhere. It is impossible. You and I, perhaps we will put it down to have some water and have some rest. But here, when you stand, you can just transfer those things right up to the top of the stone, and then you can take some water, quench your thirst, and you can lie down under the tree. Therefore, the stones are always found near a tree and water. After a little rest, you are able to carry those things. You don't need to bend down and carry again to put on top, which is impossible because you're already tired. So one easy way of continuing a journey is to stand and pull up those things right up to your head or your shoulder and walk. Very practical, isn't it? These stones are called load bearers. What happens if you were to take the stone together with those things and carry and walk? Impossible. Nobody would want to carry that heavy burden because your things are already burdensome. What more if I were to pull up this stone? Your neck will be gone, will be broken. But the load bearer, Jesus Christ today, tells in the gospel, come to me, he says. I will give you rest, he says. But take my yoke. Yoke is not easy. Yoke is also a little heavy. Take this, my yoke, and go, he says. Will you be able to take that along? But he also says, my yoke is easy. It is light. It gives you joy. If you take this load, it gives you joy. So today we're going to see in what way can I understand these words of Jesus. First, let's look at our lives. Today, we are free of burden. I do not know. If you feel burdensome, what load are you carrying? What type of load bearer are you today? Those days, yes, things were burdensome. Our forefathers, our great-grandmothers, grandpa, grandma, or perhaps even our parents carried heavy things in their life. Today, we are sending children for easy things. Get out, go for tuition, Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Not enough. Go for more classes. Go, and go. And yet, when the result comes, no, nothing better. Those days, no tuition. I remember I only went for Form 3 and perhaps, I don't know, some subjects in Form 5 for tuition. We could not afford for more because there are 4 of us in the family. If all were to go for tuition, tabole. Just choose one subject, mom will say, and I will pay and go. And those days, tuition fees were 30, 40 ringgits. Today, just one subject, 1 month, 100 or 150. And there are so many subjects. Tuitions after tuitions, everything is reduced, not added on, reduced to what? Reduction at home. We don't seem to sit with your child. No parents would want to sit and to take up some class or perhaps even show something. Time at home is reduced. The load at home is reduced. We don't want to see any more loads. Perhaps it is also a screen world today. Everything is in your hand. Your handphone, iPhone, everything is in your hand. Just touch the screen and you'll get the whole world in your palms. You buy things online. Just touch, press, and pizza will be at the door, delivered to you. Easy. Buy things online, easy. Pay through credit card, and you get your ticket, you get your things, easy. No need to line up, no need to think of waiting, things like that. Those days, people used to carry loads to bring about food or bring things to your place. Everything has shrunken, everything has gone thin and slim. But some things today have come up, perhaps has risen, given rise. If you sleep nicely and you get up a little later, now it's 9:30, you take your phone and you check, my God, WhatsApp, 47 messages. And you on and we see all good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. There are many videos. Sometimes the load of things they send, your phone is stuck, you'll have to delete in order to save some and let go some. Too much things are coming up on the phone. Some relationships of husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriends are also gone because of those messages or things that comes on the phone. Nowadays, we carry loads on the phone. We carry loads in our brains because those messages or information, things that we get, we sense to talk about it or carry upon our head. There are loads of feelings added on. Those days, any news that happened in the morning, it comes to you by word of mouth or a telegram in the evening or the next day. You have feelings in the morning, you have different feelings in the evening. Today we'll have to deal with both feelings at the same time. If you're cutting a cake and singing happy birthday, immediately you get a WhatsApp, say so-and-so has died or so-and-so has met an accident, and you shout a lot and you scream and you cry. We smile at one time and we have to cry on the other side. Our feelings are always loaded and disturbed always. Technology today has given increase into so many things. Things are burdensome for us and they're always loading our brains and our hearts. And so we are no more living a healthy lifestyle. And so the Word of God is much more important and it's relevant today. Come to me, all of you who are heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. God gives rest. In the first reading, the reader said, Zechariah spoke to people who were under slavery of the Babylonians, have been sent out of their country for many years of slavery. Look out, watch out. Messiah is coming to set you free. He's going to deliver you. He's going to take away all your burdens. He will give you rest. St. Paul speaks of the same rest. If you have the Spirit in you, Spirit of Jesus who was died, who crucified, and who is risen, then you will live in that Spirit. A Spirit of Jesus will raise you up, will change you, will transform you. You will go for a good confession and keep changing your way of life and see things in a new way and differently. And the Spirit of Jesus will grant you new spirit. And this is what we call rest. And so Jesus says today, come to me, all you who are overburdened, I will give you rest. Two things we can see in the call of Christ. One, He is calling us, calling you, and He's calling me. Secondly, He is making a promise. Call, we see in two ways. One, He's saying, come to me. Don't go elsewhere. Don't think of other things. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Secondly, He says, learn from me. Learn what? Learn from me. And in the promise, there are three promises He makes. He says, I am meek. I am humble of heart. And He says, I will give you rest. I will give you rest. These are promises of Christ. But He adds on a little bit more, which is a little disturbing. He says, take my yoke, shoulder my yoke, and learn from me. Nothing else. It is my yoke. Shoulder it. Take upon you. What is this yoke? A yoke is a wooden bar, a wooden tree that a cow or an animal takes upon its neck and walk, which means you'll have to pull or carry huge load, heavy load behind. Sometimes when I go to Rantau, I notice those animals, the cows, at the roadside, their skins are all hanging. Skins are all hanging. Researcher says this animal has been carrying heavy load, so much so that the leher, the neck, has been heavily used to carry heavy loads. And so the skin is now hanging, terribly worn out, tired. These animals are heavily used to carry burden. And so this yoke is upon the neck of that animal. People under slavery, those who built pyramids at the time of Pharaoh, were slaves. They carried heavy burdens. If you go to pyramid and see, those stones are huge stones, all brought and carried upon by the slaves at the time of Pharaoh. It is very true. People under slavery seems to carry heavy loads. In the second reading also, there are Greeks and Romans who gave heavy loads upon people. And so Jesus speaks. St. Paul says, He is giving you rest. Go to Jesus, and that rest will give you joy. Brothers and sisters, what should I do? What we should do in order to understand this yoke of Jesus and to make that yoke mine, to make that yoke ours. What should I do? Number one, learn from Jesus. What should I learn from Jesus? Two things, meek and humble. What is the meaning of being meek? Look at the fruit. You will know if the fruit is ripen or is it still haven't. It's still haven't, ripe or something. It's still no good to eat. You will never touch it because it's so hard. For instance, guava. We will have to wait till it's ripened. If you look at papaya, so nice, it has turned color. You know it is ripe now. If you touch, if you push, if you touch it, it will go in. It is softened. It is now soft. So meek is not being sissy, Meek is being little softened. If you are hard, you are full of pride. You are no more meek. Nothing can go through you. You are being touched. You won't be able to absorb anything. But a fruit that is ripened is ready to be eaten, to be enjoyed. Therefore, to be meek is imagining yourself to become a ripened fruit, that a little softened, that has become easy for everybody. Meaning, in any situation, to be meek means be easy so that others could come to you. That easily you can absorb others. Don't be hard. That is the meekness of Jesus. He softened himself so that he could carry that cross, carry that load. Secondly, humble. A humble person would always say, things are happening this way, things that I don't want things to happen, but I accept things as they are. That shows humility, that is being humble. Accept things as they are. Therefore, for those who are meek and humble of heart, Jesus gives you rest. Number two, Spirit of Jesus is a spirit that rises above. In any situation when you are sunken, when you could not get up, when you know that you have no more strength, please rise from that. And only Jesus can give that risen experience for us. For all those who go for confessions to receive the Eucharist are receiving a resurrection experience. Every Sunday we receive this same experience of Jesus coming into ourselves, changing us and transforming us. For these hearts being transformed, Jesus gives rest. Thirdly, always say enough. Enough is enough. Don't ask for more than what you have. A donkey is enough. Don't ask for a horse. In the first reading, Zechariah say, he will come choosing a donkey. And so Jesus says, come, bring the colt, the donkey, and I will ride on it, going towards the cross. He chose this animal donkey just to show to the world, enough. Learn to say enough, and you will always be happy. Our grandpa, grandma would always say, in their time, they had enough, and they were very happy. They lived a happy life. Today we have everything. We have more than what we need, and yet we are very unhappy. Let's choose the donkey today and say that's enough and be happy. Don't think that Jesus Christ called you and added on burden upon you. He carried the load, the cross for you first. He won't add upon it anymore. He is always our load carrier. If this load bearer, Jesus, comes along you and asks for your help, and if you willingly carry this load of Jesus, this yoke of Christ as well, then you will have that rest that Jesus has promised. Rest in and with Jesus.